the 46 glowing female skeletons in ancient coffins, a terrifying discovery that shocked archaeologists. There are archaeological discoveries that leave the entire world stunned, not just because of their ancient age, but because of the presence of things that defy ordinary logic. Among them, one of the most baffling mysteries in modern archaeology took place in late 2006 in Shuikou Town, Jing'an County, Jiangxi Province, China. The story began like any routine construction project. In December of that year, a group of workers was blasting rocks to build a section of highway. But instead of just rubble and shattered stone, what emerged after the explosion felt like a portal through time, taking them back more than 2,500 years to a hidden underground world. Beneath the soil, lying undisturbed, was an ancient tomb covering approximately 1,722 square feet that had never been discovered before. As soon as they stepped inside, the workers halted construction and immediately notified the authorities. A team of archaeologists from China's National Cultural Heritage Administration was dispatched to the site. What they found next felt straight out of a surreal tale. 46 identical coffins, perfectly aligned, evenly spaced, and completely still, as if recounting a meticulously planned burial ritual. But the shock didn't end there. When experts began opening each coffin, they were horrified to discover that all the remains were of young women between the ages of 16 and 20, lying naked in identical positions. And the most chilling part? Their bodies were glowing. This wasn't the faint shimmer of mold or a reflection of flashlight beams. It was a soft, pale green luminescence, delicate and ethereal, emanating from crystal-like substances that covered their skeletons. Some of these crystals were as large as 3.3 inches and had been carefully arranged inside the coffins, suggesting they played a special role in the burial ritual. From this point, scientists began chemical analyses to determine the nature of the crystals. The results revealed that the primary component was ferric phosphate, FePO4, a compound known for its fluorescent properties alongside other luminous elements that could not yet be fully identified. This sparked an unsettling question. Did ancient people possess advanced chemical knowledge far beyond their time? Or did the glowing serve a deeper spiritual or symbolic purpose? But the mystery extended beyond the glowing remains. The very identity of these 46 beauties stirred heated debate. Why were they all female? Why the same age? Why the same posture? The most chilling theory proposed is that this was a case of human sacrifice, a ritual in which these young women were killed to accompany their king into the afterlife. That king may have been Zhongwu of the state of Shu, an ancient kingdom believed to have once existed in this region. What made the discovery even more unsettling was the presence of numerous ancient textile tools found within the tomb. This led experts to speculate that these girls may have been palace weavers, forced into death so they could continue serving their ruler in the afterlife, weaving royal robes for the king's soul in the next world. Even now, nearly 20 years after the discovery, many questions remain unanswered. Researchers continue to study the remaining artifacts, hoping to find new clues that will unlock the secrets of the glowing crystals and the fate of the 46 young women who perished in silence millennia ago. So, what do you think? Was this an act of ultimate loyalty, or a horrifying example of a society that worshipped absolute power? As for me, whatever the truth may be, it's nothing short of terrifying. But you know what? This isn't the only strange archaeological mystery out there. From glowing pyramids in Peru, to undecayed mummies trapped in frozen Siberian lakes, to sunken villages off the coast of Japan, every excavation rewrites history and turns unbelievable legends into fact. So, join me as we continue our journey into other fascinating and mysterious discoveries in today's video, and see what secrets the past is still hiding. The 6,000-year-old dragon skeleton. For thousands of years, the image of the dragon has held a supreme place in Chinese culture. Far more than just a mythical creature, the dragon symbolized the emperor himself, an embodiment of power, invincibility, and the sacred link between heaven and earth. Yet, everything we've known about dragons has been confined to legends, epics, and ancient carvings. That is, until recently. A shocking archaeological discovery in Jing'an Province, China, has stunned the academic world. The unearthing of an animal skeleton believed to be that of a dragon. The excavation began like any other routine archaeological project. At a site belonging to the Jiangxi culture, an ancient civilization that dates back over 6,000 years, a team of experts uncovered an ancient tomb deep beneath the city of Puyang, China. At first, no one expected anything out of the ordinary, but when the tomb was finally opened, the atmosphere shifted instantly. There were no human remains, no jade burial goods, no bronze artifacts, no gold or silver treasures as one might expect. Instead, lying in the center of the tomb was a skeleton unlike any seen before. The creature's skull faced northeast. Its front limbs were positioned as if embracing something, while its hind legs were raised, forming a strikingly lifelike posture. The most astonishing detail was its long, sinuous tail, curving in a way that eerily resembled traditional depictions of dragons soaring through the sky as seen in countless ancient Chinese cultural relics. Archaeologists quickly found themselves in the midst of a heated debate. On one hand, the skeleton didn't perfectly match any known modern animal species. On the other, its features bore an uncanny resemblance to descriptions of dragons found in ancient texts. Some scholars speculated that it might be the remains of a prehistoric reptile, or perhaps a symbolic animal sculpture crafted by humans. But others dared to ask a far bolder question. Could this be the first physical evidence that dragons truly existed in human history? The intrigue didn't stop with the skeleton itself. The interior walls of the tomb were intricately carved with symbolic ancient motifs, patterns depicting a long-bodied, scaled, bearded creature flying through the clouds. These visual elements strongly echoed the classical image of the Chinese dragon. All of this made it increasingly difficult to dismiss the theory that some legendary creature may have once existed, or at least that people of the time believed it had. However, the biggest mystery remains. Why was only the dragon's skeleton found in the tomb? Where was the human body? Who was the tomb's owner? Why were they buried alongside the most sacred creature in Chinese mythology? And even more puzzling, how could this person have tamed such a mythical being? To answer these questions, some scholars proposed a daring theory. The tomb's occupant might have been a descendant of ancient legendary figures like Zhuanshu, Fuxi, or Qi Yu, mythical emperors believed to have the power to command dragons. According to lore, these rulers not only possessed exceptional martial prowess but also divine abilities strong enough to connect with celestial beasts. Unfortunately, that remains pure speculation. No inscriptions were found to identify the person buried within. No artifacts revealed their status or specific time period beyond the dating of the burial layer. All that remains is a bizarre skeleton and mysterious engravings that have lain undisturbed beneath the earth for over 6,000 years. The question now is, does this discovery serve as proof that dragons were more than just imagination? Or was this creature a religious symbol, constructed to represent the power and divine authority of the tomb's owner, who may have been revered as a son of heaven within an ancient community? While the answers remain elusive, one thing is undeniable. This finding has opened a new doorway into understanding how ancient civilizations perceived the world, mythology, and power. As archaeology approaches the boundary between reality and legend, each discovery has the potential to upend everything we think we know about the past. And who knows, perhaps hidden deep within yet unearthed layers of soil, even greater secrets are still waiting to be awakened. The girl's corpse and two sparrowheads in a Polish cave. Tunel Wielki Cave, a seemingly unremarkable limestone cavern in southern Poland, has become the focus of international archaeological attention, as it hides within its depths a strange and haunting story, steeped in mystery and sorrow. The tale begins with an excavation that took place between 1967 and 1968, when Professor Waldemar Chmielewski, one of Poland's leading archaeologists, discovered the skeletal remains of a young girl, estimated to be about 300 years old. But what left the entire research team and scientific community in shock was a grisly, never-before-documented detail. Two sparrowheads had been placed inside the girl's mouth. Why is this such a chilling discovery? Because it's not just an unusual funerary element, it raises profound questions about death, culture, belief systems, and the hidden secrets buried deep within Eastern Europe's ancient forests. Radiocarbon analysis revealed that the unfortunate girl died at a very young age, likely between 10 and 12 years old, and was buried in the cave without any grave goods, something highly unusual in traditional burial customs. Even more puzzling, there were no marks on the bones to indicate a cause of death, making the case even harder to explain. No one knows who the girl was, where she came from, how she died, or why two bird remains, specifically sparrowheads, were placed in her mouth after death. Sparrows, while small and common, have held powerful symbolic meaning in many ancient cultures. They were sometimes believed to represent souls, messengers between the living and the dead, or spiritual offerings of a mystical nature. What adds another layer of mystery is the fact that cave burials had long vanished from Europe by this time, having disappeared since the Middle Ages, several centuries before this girl's death. The fact that a body was interred in Tunal Wilkie Cave without following any known 17th century burial rites forced researchers to revisit scattered and obscure historical records from the region. What they uncovered was a critical clue. Between 1655 and 1657, during the Northern Wars, southern Poland was occupied by the army of King Charles X Gustav of Sweden. This military force included soldiers from various regions, including Finland and Karelia, now split between Russia and Finland, a land known for its ancient folk beliefs and highly distinctive burial customs. Folk records from the 19th century suggest that ancient Karelians believed if someone died in the forest, their soul could not pass on unless their body was buried exactly where they had died. This may explain why the girl's remains were found in the cave. Perhaps she had become lost in the forest, died under mysterious circumstances, and was buried there in accordance with old customs. But even if that's true, the biggest question remains unanswered. Why were two sparrow heads placed in her mouth? One theory suggests that this was part of a sacred ritual, an ancient rite that may have existed only within small, isolated communities in Karelia or Finland, where birds were seen as divine intermediaries between life and death. The two small birds may have symbolized spirit guides or served as a kind of prayer sent into the spiritual realm. Alternatively, they may have represented a symbolic offering or even a form of superstitious punishment, especially if the girl's death was associated with some kind of taboo within her community. 90-million-year-old prehistoric beast. Bone shatters pavement. In the remote, mysterious land of Patagonia, often dubbed the Savannah of Beasts in Argentina, archaeologists have just officially announced the discovery of a fossilized skeleton belonging to a massive titanosaur dinosaur that lived approximately 90 million years ago. The reconstructed creature has now been named Shuikou Town, a name that not only reflects its extraordinary power, but also recalls a dramatic event that occurred during the excavation and transport of its first unearthed bones. And you won't believe what happened. Back in 2018, archaeologists discovered the first fragments of this creature's skeleton as they spectacularly emerged from the hillsides in Rio Negro Province, Patagonia. This region is already world-famous for preserving the remains of colossal dinosaurs, some of the most precious prehistoric treasures on Earth. But this time, it wasn't just the size of the fossil that took the research team's breath away, it was the mind-boggling weight of each bone. Just one leg bone required multiple people working together to carefully move it inch by inch. Then, as scientists transported the fossils from the site to Buenos Aires for further study, something utterly unexpected occurred. Despite being a specialized heavy-duty vehicle, the transport truck couldn't withstand the overwhelming weight of the fossil. In a sudden moment of imbalance, one massive bone slipped off the truck and crashed onto the pavement. And here's the incredible part: it didn't break. Not even a crack. Instead, the concrete road was shattered by the impact of this prehistoric machine. It was both a terrifying and awe-inspiring sight. That unforgettable moment inspired the team to name the new species Shuikou. In the indigenous Quechua language, Chucaro means unyielding or rugged animal, while Diripienda comes from Latin, meaning hurled or thrown away, a tribute to the historic moment when this ancient bone smashed into the modern road. Shuikou is now classified as a member of the titanosaur group, giant sauropod dinosaurs that were among the largest creatures to ever walk the earth. These gentle giants were plant eaters, with a very recognizable appearance, massive legs, an extremely long neck and tail, and a body that could stretch up to 98 feet in length. With an estimated weight of 66,000 to 88,000 pounds, Shuikou ranks among the heaviest creatures to roam the planet during the Cretaceous period, the golden age of gigantic dinosaurs. But believe it or not, even with its jaw-dropping size, Chocorasaurus wasn't the largest dinosaur ever discovered. In Argentina alone, some of its relatives, such as Patagodoton, Argentinosaurus, and Notocolossus, are believed to have reached a staggering 154,000 pounds, roughly the weight of a small freight train. As for length, the record still belongs to Supersaurus, discovered in the western United States, which measured up to 128 feet, longer than a commercial airplane. The Rui staff and golden headband of Sun Wukong, found in an ancient Chinese tomb. Legends are born from the imagination of humankind, but what happens when a myth, long believed to exist only in books, suddenly leaves its trace in the real world? And how much more astonishing would it be if a supernatural figure like Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, symbol of wisdom, strength, and rebellion, were to be linked to a real ancient tomb? High in a remote mountain in Jing'an Province, China, an area long overlooked and seldom visited, a team of archaeologists made a shocking discovery: two mysterious ancient tombs. At first glance, they appeared to be nothing more than simple weathered burial mounds. But as the researchers approached, they were left speechless. The first tombstone was engraved with 4 large characters: Great Sage equal to heaven, the legendary title of Sun Wukong. The second tomb bore the name Great Sage who connects to heaven, a figure unfamiliar to the general public, but seemingly connected to Wukong in an ancient version of the legend. Excavations began immediately. No one could have imagined that beneath the surface of these modest graves lay secrets that would challenge both historical scholarship and modern science. Inside the first tomb, the team unearthed a cylindrical iron object, long and staff-shaped. Its form instantly reminded everyone of the legendary Rui Jinggu Bang, the magical staff famously wielded by Sun Wukong in Journey to the West. From its size, structure, and extraordinary weight, a provocative question emerged. Could this be the inspiration, or even the prototype, for the mythical weapon? Near the iron staff, another astonishing item was found: a metal circlet that bore a striking resemblance to the golden headband, the magical ring used to restrain Wukong when he misbehaved in the novel. Though rusted with age, its form remained shockingly intact. And yet, what puzzled the team most was what wasn't there. No skeletal remains, not a single bone, no biological trace of a human body. Only funerary items and the 2 enigmatic tombstones. Using dating techniques, experts determined the tombs date back to the late Yuan dynasty around the 14th century, predating the Ming dynasty, when Wu Cheng'en is believed to have written Journey to the West. This discovery raises a strange contradiction. How could the tomb of a fictional character exist before the character was even created? The answer may lie in a largely forgotten historical figure, Yang Jingxian, a scholar from the Yuan dynasty who wrote an early stage play titled Journey to the West, featuring none other than Sun Wukong, long before Wu Cheng'en's famous novel appeared. More intriguingly, Yang's earlier version even included a character named the Great Sage who connects to heaven, said to be Wukong's younger brother. This led researchers to propose a bold theory. Wu Cheng'en may not have been the original creator of Sun Wukong, but rather someone who built upon existing folk stories, scripts, and oral traditions that had circulated for centuries. 400-year-old cannons, discovered beneath the sea. In recent months, a remarkable archaeological discovery has sent shockwaves through the global historical and maritime research communities. A series of centuries-old cannons, along with a treasure trove of valuable relics, were found on the seafloor off the northwest coast of Ireland. Revealed after the remains of a Spanish shipwreck, La Juliana, were exposed by a series of massive storms over the past 2 years. This discovery not only brings captivating stories from the past to life, but also sheds new light on the historical mysteries of one of the most turbulent periods in European history, the ill-fated Spanish Armada invasion of 1588. La Juliana, known as one of the larger vessels in the Armada, sank after being battered by violent waves and powerful storms. Originally a merchant ship transporting goods between Spain and Italy, La Juliana was commandeered by King Philip II of Spain to take part in a bold invasion aimed at seizing the English throne from Queen Elizabeth I. Weighing in at around 950 US tons, the ship could carry up to 32 cannons, over 300 soldiers, and 70 sailors. The cannons discovered on the seabed had remained remarkably intact for more than 400 years, as though time itself had failed to erase their mark on history. Among them was one especially striking cannon, recently recovered and brought ashore, engraved with the image of Saint Matrona, the patron saint of Catalonia and Barcelona, along with the year 1570, which coincides with the year La Juliana was constructed. Archaeologists noted that, despite being buried beneath the ocean floor for centuries, the cannons are in extraordinary condition, thanks in part to the preservative qualities of the deep-sea environment. This preservation highlights the remarkable craftsmanship and durability of 16th-century weapon-making technology, a testament to the advanced metallurgy of that era. But this is more than just an archaeological treasure trove. These artifacts serve as living evidence of Spain's dramatic failure in its attempt to conquer England. After the historic Battle of Gravelines, the Spanish fleet was defeated and forced to flee, only to face catastrophic storms off the coast of Ireland. Many ships were lost to the sea, including La Juliana. The waters off Ireland became a deadly graveyard for the Armada. One-third of the 63 ships in the fleet were destroyed. As you can see, from unidentified skeletons to artifacts that shouldn't exist according to the historical timeline, each discovery is like a thunderclap that leaves experts sighing in disbelief. The deeper we dig into the past, the more humanity seems to realize just how little we truly know about our own origins. Could it be that the history we've long believed in is merely a fragment of a much larger picture still hidden from view? What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments below so we can discuss it together. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest discoveries every day. For now, goodbye, and we'll see you in the next video.